Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel Software Testing. As you all know, my name is still Daniel Knott and I'm happy that you're here to today's video. In today's video I would like to talk about mobile testing and the mobile testing framework or automation tool that I was seeing lately on Twitter. A couple of weeks ago I found a tweet about a tool called Maestro, and it caught my attention because I haven't heard about it yet. So I was like, okay, let's see what this tool is all about, and I think it's a really nice tool that whenever you're working in the mobile testing industry you should know of, because it's simple to set up and easy to use. But without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the project page, and then I also go into some hands-on really simple testing automation that I would like to show you today with that video. So let's take a look. So as you can see here, we are on the Maestro web page. It's a tool developed by the engineers by mobile.dev, and it comes basically with a really bold statement, which is Maestro is the simplest and most effective mobile UI testing framework. Well, that's a bold statement, right? So let's take a look what it has to offer. So it has a really simple language, or like descriptive language that you can use. It's YAML for describing your test automation steps that you would like to do in the test run. So you can execute it on the command line, and you can execute it on iOS apps, on Android apps, against Flutter apps and React Native apps. So that's cool. But why Maestro, you might ask yourself? Well, it says here on the web page, it says Maestro is built on learnings from its predecessors like Appium, Espresso, UI Automator or XCI test. It has a built-in tolerance for flakiness, so UI elements will not always be where you expect them, and also the screen tab will not be always go through. And Maestro embraces the instability of mobile application devices and tries to counter it. Well, it has, as I said here, a built-in tolerance for delays, so you don't need to add proper sleeps or wait times and so forth. And Maestro knows that it might take time to load some content. So that's something good, and a little bit of bad, well, I have to say, because when I tried the tool, I sometimes had the feeling that it was a bit, let's say, waiting too long for myself, but that's okay. So it's really easy to execute, and it's really easy to also write the step definitions, which I can show you in a second. So the syntax is used to describe in a YAML file, but it's really easy to do so. And a simple setup, yes, that's definitely true. When I first came up across the tool, I used like, hey, let's go to my computer and let's do the update. So I hit like the installation commands, which are also described over here in the installation process. So basically, depending on your setup, so I have a macOS running here. You can go here and say, okay, this is what you need to do. Use curl to run the following commands. And then you have some brew commands, and since I was not using brew that often in the last month, that was the longest part for me to do the brew update, you know, to have all the dependencies installed on my machine. But afterwards, the installation of Maestro was a couple of seconds. And then, of course, I had to spawn like another Android simulator or an emulator to actually try out the tool itself. So that's really cool, and that's a really a shift in, for example, using Appium, which is the installation process is really long and, you know, tedious to do so. As I said, it has a really easy and simple flow on how to write tests. We come to that in a second. And also here on that page you will find also the commands, like really well documented in terms of how to execute the tests, how to get the view hierarchy, for example, of your app, if you don't know what are the names of the elements, for example, and so forth. And you have also like a reference of the actions that you can do with your mobile device. So it's all written down here. So that's really cool. Yeah. So, but without further ado, let's do some hands-on testing here today. I will going to minimize my browser. What you can see, I prepared a little bit. So we have here, I already had some scripts testing before. So yeah, as you can see, here's a clear YAML file. We have an Android emulator up and running. It's a stock Android emulator. Oops, this is not what I would like to do. Closing it. There you go. So we have no apps running. Yeah, and so let's jump right into writing the first test. So let's a comment. First test Maestro is just a comment. not really a good comment, but hey, there you go. So the first thing that we need to do is we have to define an app ID. And what I have done is I checked up front. I made my mind, like, hey, what I would like to automate, and to showcase you how easy it is to use Maestro. I got the APK file, or like the APK identifier from the default Android messaging app running on that emulator, and that is com.google.android.apps.messaging. So that's the thing. So that's something how you identify your app, the app under test. And if you also connect your real device, for example, or you connect, you install your own development APK version, just enter the app ID, and you can start right away without any modifications to the app itself. You could also go to the Play Store, for example, or to the App Store, get, for example, I don't know, some travel booking app that you would like to automate, get the app identifier, and then start writing the test automation. So that's what we identified now. Okay, so let's get right into it. So let's start with the first command. Now that we added the app ID of the app that we would like to test, it's the right moment to actually launch the app. So what I'm typing here is launch app with a clear state. So that's the command that I would always like to add, because that's clearing the app to its default state. So resetting all the data, get rid of everything, and launch the app with a clear state. So let's try it out. Saving the file, and then hit the first time Maestro and see how it is working in action. So you can see the flow, and it passed already. So it launches the app with a clear state, and we have the messaging app up and running. So that's good. So the first step is working. So now that we of course we need to explore the app a bit, the UI, so then it's much easier to automate. And I made a little script of the things that I would like to automate for you for this video, because otherwise it might take too long. And I just want to show you how the Maestro is working, how it's able to tap on different things and stuff. So what I have here as well, so you can go here, say tap on, and then I have got it. So we tap on that one. The next one is as well, tap on start chat. So let's hit save button, and let's give it a try if it's running. So we start Maestro again. So you can see we start the app again with a clear state. We hit on got it to help improve messages. Takes some time, and now we hit the start chat button. And then we have the new conversation window open. And as you can see, test has passed. So we are getting rid of this one again. And now we're going back to the YAML file. Then we can say, okay, tap on. We want to create a group. Oops, it's written like this. And then we say, okay, that's a method that I found on the documentation. It's called input random person name, which I find really helpful for just hitting up some easy tests. We can then also say hide keyboard, and then we say, okay, press key, and that's the cool thing here. We can say, okay, hit the home button to just leave the app, right? And then we can say again, launch the app again, and then we say tap on agree, because that's what I found out in the flow. And then we can also do some assert visible, let's say start chat again. So that's like a really basic workflow that I just did before in the preparation for that video. But as you can see, it's a really simple syntax, and using the syntax side by side from the documentation point of view, you can really get it really up and running really fast. So let's hit the execution of the YAML file here, and we have an oh yeah, there's a typo, assert visible. So now it should run. As you can see here, we see the implemented flow, launching the app. We tap on got it, and then we say tap on agree, because that's what I found out in the flow. And then we can also do some assert visible, let's say start chat again. So that's like a really basic workflow that I just did before in the preparation for that video. But as you can see, it's a really simple syntax, and it's not. What did I wrong? I think the app was, but now you can see how it looks like in case you did a mistake. So let's get rid of the app in the background again, and let's see why it was not starting with a clear state. That's life, you know, that's programming, that's debugging. So we have the app, we have the got it, there you go, there's help improve messages. My tool tapped on it, we hit start chat. We're now creating the group, we giving a random name. We hit the home key to close the app. We start the app again using the app identifier, and then we hit agree because hey, yeah, the cookie banners, and then we have the visibility check for the start chat, even though it's behind this snack bar thing. And yeah, the test has passed, and that's, I think it's really cool, right? It's really easy and simple syntax, as you can see. What I have seen in documentation, you can also nest YAML files. So for example, you have like a routine. Let's say the login case of your application, for example, you would like to implement in one YAML file, and then you can call it this YAML file as a precondition. For example, after the app has been started, you can call the nested YAML file, and with that you can build up like your own little test suite. Yeah. So and that's also things that I haven't tried yet, but I would like to explore in one of my new projects that I hope is coming. And I think it's a really nice tool to get really started really quickly. Yeah, compared to other tools. It feels really lightweight. What I really like about the tool is easy setup, easy to use, and yeah, if you haven't done so far, I would recommend you to check in the video description the tool vendor page. They also have a GitHub project, of course, where you can file issues, browse issues in case you have something, give feedback, give kudos. So to actually encourage the developers to do some further development on the tool. Yeah, and with that, that's it for today. It should be like a really short introduction of the tool to guide you through Maestro, what it's capable of. It's just like a glimpse of the tool that you can explore, but I hope it was helpful for you already. And yeah, if you liked the video, leave a thumbs up, leave it a subscription to support me, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.